Next up on Prep Huddle Live here on StriveSports.com, we've got Shane Allison. He's the head coach at Valentine for the wrestling program. Coach, thanks a lot for digging out of the snow to join us today.
Oh, we appreciate it up here. We appreciate the coverage.
Let's talk a little bit about actually the end of last season. You guys were runners-up to David City in both the team championships and the dual championships in Kearney. How did those close finishes impact your off-season work for the guys?
Well, I think the guys come in pretty focused this year. We knew we had a good team returning, and we made some off-season tournaments. We had a lot of kids at camp this summer. And I give them a break before football starts and just kind of let them rejuvenate and come in fully charged. So they come in focused and ready to go this year.
Let's talk about some of the guys that make up this year's squad. I know kind of been following along with any wrestle, and you guys have had some guys miss some time. But who are the ones that have been stepping up this year?
Well, Jordan Kelber, he's a state champ 2 years ago and third a year ago. The kid's just really come into his own. He's undefeated on the year. He's very focused. He didn't like how his state tournament ended last year with the third place finish rather than a championship. So he's one of our leaders on our team. We got a little freshman at 113 pound who's undefeated right now, Gage Kulikowski, and he's looking strong, and he's wrestled the top dogs in his weight class and dominated so far. So we're looking for good things out of him. We go up and down our lineup, and our lineup is full of leaders like Noah Eklund and Hudson Pierman, who are both runners-up 2 years ago, and DJ Steven, who's an outstanding junior, who's really coming on late in the year. So, it's hard to pinpoint one or two guys because we got a bunch of them stepping up.
Wrestling is such a physically demanding sport. What do you stress to the kids outside of practice to kind of have them be able to take the best care of themselves?
Well, we really stress nutrition and eating right and getting plenty of sleep. That's very important down the stretch. Sickness is going to hit us hard last week. I think we only had 7 varsity guys in the tournament last week, so it's going to hit, but they recover faster when they're in great shape and when they're taking care of themselves. So we really push nutrition. We try and get them. We encourage them to get on a multivitamin and make sure they're getting plenty of sleep and keeping up with their studies.
Eat, sleep, and study, and there's a little wrestling in there too. Talk about the competition you guys face throughout the year. I know there's been some good ones. You guys have gone to some big meets, and maybe a little bit of how that prepares you, hopefully, for what comes in February.
Well, we want to put our kids in situations where they've been in tough matches all year long. That kind of lost out on that when we were missing our home meet. It got canceled. That's a really good one. We went to the High Plains tournament instead to try and get more matches in. We saw some great competition down there. The Schuyler meet's a good tournament there, and then last weekend we went to the Shadron meet, which has 25, 30 teams and some large class schools as well. So we want those kids to have their toughest matches of the year before they get to the state tournament. That way, when they get down into a blood and guts round and they have to dig deep to pull out a win, they've been there before and they know how to react.
And also, it's not necessarily the longest season as far as the winter sports are concerned, but it's such a grind anyway. How do you try to keep the guys fresh in practices in January so that they're ready for those meets?
Yeah, January really is a grind with us. We really got some tough tournaments in January. Our schedule's set up so that at the end of the year we go to Ainsworth this coming week, which is our closest tournament, only 45 miles away, and then our conference meet's held on a Friday, which gives them a weekend off over right before the district meet. So our schedule's set up really nice to where the kids do get a little bit of a chance to recharge and get focused before that district meet.
And you mentioned that Ainsworth being the close drive at 45 minutes. That's something that you see a lot more, obviously, the farther west you go in the state. How big of an impact is driving, especially when you've got to be at an event so early in the morning to try to get the kids up and have them ready to go right away in a big day?
Well, we got to travel out here. We're just kind of in the middle of nowhere, so we do a lot of traveling. We went down to and dueled Columbus and Lincoln, and then had the Schuyler meet. That was early morning to get up, and they got early weigh-ins there. And then the next week we're at Shadron, and I do think the kids miss out on some sleep there, and I think that the sickness that hit us this last week had something to do with maybe a little bit of lack of sleep. But it's just one of those things. If you're going to seek out good competition, you need to travel, and you need to go search out those good teams and wrestle that good competition. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. You spend time traveling, you lose out maybe a little sleep, but you do get to see the good competition as well. So we just try and balance that the best we can, and again, staying close to home towards the end of the year really helps.
Coach, before we let you go one last time, I want to kind of ask you, what is the message for the guys as they get ready for here at the end of January and just a few weeks left of the season? What's the biggest message to try to bring home some of those state medals?
We just trying to stay relaxed and stay focused on our job. We haven't talked state championship at all this year. That's not something that we're talking about. We're just talking about improving every single time we go out there on the mat, and we're trying to take the pressure off the kids this year. The last 2 years we've been runners up, and I think the kids have felt some pressure down the stretch. And this year we just refocused on improvement every time we step on the mat. So I think that has taken some of the pressure off, and we'll see if it pays off.
It will be fun to follow along the rest of the way. Coach Shane Allison with Valentine, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck to you and the guys the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
When we come back here on Prep Huddle Live on StriveSports.com, we're going to talk girls basketball with Northwest coach Rico Burkett. That's next.